And welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Weekly Show, a podcast brought to you by the Livingston Parish News. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news, and I'm joined by a gentleman. We haven't had him in here in a while, which is a shame. Should probably do it more often, but we're going to give him a second to introduce himself real quick. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I think the last time I was here, I was with the tourism office, and that was several years ago.
No. You were here. I'm trying to remember. You were here as
Maybe when I was running for mayor or right after.
I think we did one when you were running, and that's when I was in my office.
Okay.
And then it used to be set up like this.
Yeah.
And of course, people who are just listening or can't see me on camera are like, "What is this?" But the table used to be in a different spot, etc. So this is your first time
in this nice Taj Mahal of a studio.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't call it Taj Mahal, but we have updated the lighting.
Okay.
So the picture does look a little bit
Well,
better.
me and you were sitting here chatting. You wanted me to introduce myself.
Yes, please do.
For those that don't know me, my name is JT Taylor, and I am the mayor of the town of Livingston. I've been the mayor for 3 years now.
Oh, well, Tempest Fugit.
And I know I don't look like one. I get told that every day. I don't know what one is supposed to look like, but apparently I don't look like a mayor, but I am.
And you know what? It works out because as we're going to talk about today, you'll have plenty going on. First, want to talk about sort of an immediate event. It's going to be happening. Technically, we're recording this. Not even really technically. We're recording this Wednesday morning. But tomorrow morning, Thursday, in the morning, this podcast will run on social media and other platforms. There's going to be a dedication ceremony for a project y'all have had that's ongoing. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that is the National Fitness Court. So how this came about, one thing when I became mayor, I just wanted to promote healthy lifestyle, get out. We have 4 miles of sidewalks there in town, and we wanted to do some outdoor fitness type of equipment. So we partnered with Baton Rouge General. Baton Rouge General came to us about 2 years ago and said, "Hey, JT, if you want to do anything in the future, let us know. We'd love to be a part." So I joined up with their team, started talking about some outdoor fitness equipment, and we came across this thing called the National Fitness Court. And when I saw it, I said, "We got to do this." And some of you may have seen on our social media posts, we've posted pictures of it, things like that. This is the 9th one in Louisiana that we have. Baker did one about 3 or 4 months ago. That's the closest one to us, I believe. So we now have one in Circle Drive Park. It's called National Fitness Court, and it's a use your body movements. They have an app on it. You go scan it on the wall, and it shows you body movements. You set up an account with it, kind of tracks what you're doing. We've already had people out there working out a lot on it. We encourage trainers, fitness people that are passionate about that to come use it. Use it as a business. Come out and do train people. So we look to hopefully join with some people like that, join with possibly Baton Rouge General to do monthly classes, invite the public, come out, it's free. We want you to come enjoy it. But that's kind of the highlight of our park now. And we're going to look to do some other future things, but that's what that's for tomorrow. We want to thank our sponsors. We had Baton Rouge General, Macklin Construction. They did a lot of work for us. Alvin Fairburn and Associates, Comfort Control Heating and Air, Bell's Dirt Work and Bell's Ground or Land Clearing and Dirt Work. They did a lot of work for us, and also Warehouser. So we joined with other private businesses to help us get this thing done. My council, I want to thank them for being in favor of it and encouraging that healthy lifestyle. So that's what we'll be having tomorrow at 10 a.m. or today at 10 a.m.
Right.
Since the video is going to be running tomorrow. So at 10 a.m. we're going to have our sponsors out, officials, media, things like that to really celebrate that. It's a great amenity for the town and surrounding communities as well to come enjoy it.
So, again, that's going to be coming up Thursday. If you're watching this later, it was Thursday, November 2nd.
Yep.
For those of you watching in the morning, the dedication will be coming later. And as you said, talking to sponsors and things of that nature. Before we get into some other bigger projects, this is kind of another one of those things that you've put together just to do around town in Livingston. Of course, last night was trick-or-treating. Last night from Wednesday.
Yeah.
It would have been Tuesday night. But what are some other things that are coming up here in the next couple of months, especially with Christmas coming down the pipe?
So we have December the 3rd. It's a Sunday evening. We do this every year. We call it Light Up Livingston. So whenever I became mayor, we started putting a big Christmas tree in Circle Drive Park. That's right there by the town hall. And we invited organizations, daycares, schools, nonprofit organizations, individuals to make homemade ornaments and come hang them on the tree. So it's been really successful. I mean, we've had several hundred ornaments that are made, and they come hang them on the tree. And then that night we light up the Christmas tree. It's a celebration. We have churches involved, choirs, bands, music, food. It's just a good community celebration that they've been doing for many years there in town. But we started the Light Up Livingston kind of tradition of coming, hanging your own ornament on the tree. Kids come that night and see, hey, that's the ornament I made, or they try to find it on this huge tree that we have there in town. And then we also have the Christmas parade on December 16th. Last year we had to do it a little later because we had our homecoming events, things like that, and it just ran. We used to do it the first Saturday of every December, but now last year we did it later, and we found more people could participate because all the parades are going on earlier in the month, and we found it to be a great time. It was cooler. Earlier in the month, last December, it was hot, just didn't feel like Christmas. So when we did it later, we had a huge participation, and we're going to continue that. So it's going to be on December 16th at 6 p.m. So it's a night Christmas parade like they do out in Albany. That's a great one as well. So we always enjoy it. So on the 3rd, December 3rd, that's a Sunday, and then December 16th is the Christmas parade.
So keep an eye out on that. Y'all welcome folks from outside the town?
Outside. We actually this morning had a business from Walker that called that said they wanted to be in it. So yes, anyone could come. We have a church out of Hammond that comes and participates. That the pastors from Livingston. So we have the town of Livingston's a small footprint, but we reach far out. We welcome everybody to come be a part of our community.
Sure. So before we get into kind of being the town where the parish seat is, do want to talk about a water tower project that this has been sort of a long time going.
Yep.
Y'all finally got some grant money, and now it's going to come to fruition. I believe this is for the Satsuma area, which y'all serve via your utility companies, correct?
Yes, and that's what I'll let people know all the time. They say, the small town of Livingston, yes, our footprint is small, but we service a big area when it comes to our utilities, water, sewer, gas. And as everyone knows, Satsuma is a growing area. Water is something that's important and that's needed. So with the water sector grant, we received a $6.5 million grant for that to build a new water tower for that area. So bids have already gone out, so we should start construction on that at the beginning of next year. So we are excited about that, upgrading our utilities and providing good service for not only people inside of the town of Livingston, but the ones that we service outside as well. So hopefully we can get that done here in the next year or so and provide that quality water to that area that's highly needed.
So that'll be coming down the pipe. Speaking of grants, we just talked about it. Livingston is the town of Livingston parish seat. And one of the things that it used to have, which has moved south to the interstate, is the parish's seat of government. You have the parish courthouse, used to have the registrar, assessor, all that. All that's moved down to Government Boulevard with the new courthouse and everything closer to the interstate. So those buildings have been, there were a few holdouts,
Yeah.
But that has kind of trickled down to, I don't think anybody is left up there. So you've got the series of buildings that you're trying to find a use for, something that I believe you thought of before you even ran for mayor, but you have been working on it since you became mayor, is trying to find a way to bring the old courthouse back to life. So with that prompt, I'm going to let you take it.
Yeah, so I'm excited about this project. Like McHugh said, this is something before I became mayor. For those that don't know, we had the old Livingston Parish Courthouse that sits in the center, kind of the town square where the town of Livingston originated. And that's where the old Livingston Parish Courthouse sits. That was built starting, I think, in 1939. I think it was constructed by 1941. So it's a older building there in the town of Livingston. And one thing I've said when I was in tourism, I found that our parish hadn't really preserved our history like we should. You go to a lot of other parishes, counties, when I used to travel a lot for tourism, and they were always proud of the history they had and things. So when I looked at that building and I saw it deteriorating with the governmental complex, like you said, moving down further by the interstate, I said, what can be done with this courthouse to bring not only this courthouse back to life, but this area of town, bring it back, make a town square again, have that small town community feel and have events there. So about my third month in as mayor, the parish president, Ricks, called me and just I hadn't talked to him about this at all. Said, "Hey, JT, would y'all be interested, the town, in taking over this facility, the old Livingston Parish Courthouse?" So immediately, I'm sitting there thinking, "Well, this is something I want to do." But before we said, "Yeah, let's jump and do it," we knew, as I said, it's deteriorating. No one's been in it 6, 7, 8 years. Had a lot of, and still has a lot of issues with the roof and things like that need to be taken care of. We went to the state, went to Senator Rogers Pope, helped us a lot with this project, and I let him know what we wanted to do, so he found us some money to do inspections from the roof to the foundation, plumbing, HVAC, electrical, anything that needed to be done to make sure if we did take this over that it was going to be something that was feasible for us to do. So he got us the money to do that, so we did all the inspections, and the council decided, hey, this is something that we want to bring back. We have worked with DEQ, and they, with a grant with that, they're going to be helping us on asbestos, on the abatement of asbestos and lead paint, things like that. So we're working with them right now. But this project, and I put this on some videos I just started doing on the town's social media page, and I let them know this a couple weeks ago. But the goal of this, the old Livingston Parish Courthouse, is going to be to make it the new town hall for the town of Livingston. So we've already received around $2.4 million in grants. And I do want to thank my grant writer. I'm not going to say his name on here because I don't want people to come stealing from me. But since he's been here with the town of Livingston, we've generated or gotten around $10 million in grants in my 3 years as mayor. So I want to thank him for his work. We wouldn't be able to do it without him because he knows where to go, who to ask, who to look for. Luckily, I have the relationships with these people that have the money through tourism. So I have the relationships, but he just knows what needs to be done, what needs to be said. People that know how grants work, just one little word could change whether you receive it or not. So I want to thank him for it. But through all these things, we're now moving forward where we should be sending out for bids for the back half of the courthouse, where that is going to be our police department. They're going to move in there first. And then we are also going to be able to construct, or I guess gut out the entire front part of the courthouse, the old part of the courthouse, and get it ready for the second phase. So the first phase will be our police department in the back. We will have some spaces for lease as well, because we're moving from a 4,500 square foot building to a 20,000 square foot building. So we took this from our friends, our neighbors at Walker. I know they leased out the top part of their town hall. We're going to have a lot of leasable space for governmental entities, nonprofits, things like that. If they need space, there being the parish seat, we find there is office space that is needed. So we're going to utilize that. And then the first phase of this also, what I'm really excited about, is going to be the outside of the courthouse with beautification, and then also a park in the back. We have a stage area. I envision food truck Fridays. I envision having trade days, things like that, trade marts, car shows, stuff, and bring that community feel back to a town square. And I already have some samples, some mock-ups of it. I told people if they want to come to my office and check it out of what we plan on doing, I'm excited about it. And I think it's going to, again, bring that community feel even more of what we already have, and of having events there at that town square. It just reminds me of the old times, older communities, of having a town square, something we don't have anymore. So I think that's what's going to be with this project. So I'm excited about it, and I'm excited for the parish as well to take a old building, historical building, and not push it down and revitalize it, something we can be proud of. I've had a lot of, I don't like to say older, but seasoned people come to me and say, hey, JT, I remember I had an office in there back whenever it used to be the courthouse. Or I remember my parents going there and me going inside. And that's one more thing about it. Working with our architects, we're going to make it look like it was supposed to in 1941. We have the original plans. They've done a lot of work going to the state capitol when that was built around the same time. Have that same type of look when you walk in. We're going to open it back up, have the rotunda like it was originally supposed to be. So it's a big project, and one that I'm really excited about.
It's funny, those stories, when you just said that. I have a distinct memory of coming home from college and going out there with my dad, before the new courthouse had been built.
Yeah.
and it had the list of everybody on there, your judges, your clerk of court, all that stuff. And he started pointing to them and saying, "What does that person do?" And I was like, "Dad, we've been through this before. I don't have as good a grasp on local politics as I do national." So we sat there for 3 hours and went name by name by name and talked about what they did. So that's my memory.
Well, I mean, that's awesome, though. I mean, I think we need to do more of that and get our young people involved in politics and have them realize how important it really is, especially locally, how important it is. So hopefully we can do things like that, do field trips. We have the old jail up there, so I can foresee doing some field trips, some educational things with schools, having them come look at it. So it's a really neat facility, and it's something I think we need to bring back, not just for the town, but the parish.
Right, and you've been working on this for years.
Yep.
It does appear like not necessarily that it's getting traction, but that the rubber is finally meeting the road. Any kind of anticipated timeline at this point, now that things are starting to come together?
Yeah, so the first phase we should be starting on that within maybe the spring or summer of next year.
Okay.
With the courthouse, the outer part, the park area. Phase 2, we've put in for more capital outlay. We'll see if we receive it. We've also received money from Senator Cassidy as well for the courthouse project. So we're going to continue looking for more money, but we are at a point now, and I believe my council is the same with me on this, that even if we don't get it, we want to see this happen. So we're going to find a way to make this happen now because, like I said, it's moved along a lot faster than what I thought it was, and we've already received around $2.5 million for it. So now, to me, hey, let's move forward, let's do it. It's something that's going to be great for our parish and the town of Livingston. So first phase this year coming up, I could foresee the second phase probably the following year. That would be the front part of the courthouse. So I want to see it done. The sooner the better for me.
So this is finally starting to come together. Lots of background work with regard to grants. You brought up your grant writer earlier. And as you said, one of the things that you sort of pulled together while you were at tourism is you kind of know who to go talk to.
Yeah.
Clearly taking the Garrett Graves approach here, trying to find as many sources of funding as possible. So a lot of groundwork there. Finally looking at a start date here in the next 6 to 8 months. So congratulations.
Thank you.
On that. I know you've got a long list of things. We've still got a little bit of time. If there's anything else you want to talk about before we wrap it up here this morning.
Well, we have a great town to live in, and the people that's lived there forever probably are telling me, JT, that's a secret. Don't tell everybody this. But I think people are starting to find out. But I guess coming from the tourism background, and I got to travel around and see what other places did. And I would always come home, I took for granted what we had here in Livingston Parish. Whenever I was approached about the job of being the assistant director with tourism, I'm like everybody else is when you say tourism. We have tourism in Livingston? And we take it for granted growing up here, grew up here since my whole life here in Livingston Parish. And whenever I got to travel and see these things, I would come back and I started seeing the good things we had instead. It's real easy to pick out the bad. It's real easy to sit here and gripe and complain. I find it's more difficult sometimes to, hey, let's be positive and find the good things. So I've brought that approach to the town of Livingston. I'm huge on quality of life. I know we throw that word around a lot. A lot of people throw that phrase around, quality of life, but it's a priority to me. Beautification's a priority to me. Picking up litter is a priority to me. Sometimes I think that's put on the back burner. We need to worry about, hey, yes, drainage is huge. Utilities are huge. Sewer's huge. But also, my goal is I want people to see what we are doing. And whenever I was running for mayor, one of my big things is I said I wanted to inspire others. I want to inspire other communities. I think if we do what we need to do, then it's going to challenge other communities. Hey, look at the town of Livingston, what they're doing. We need to do the same. And I've seen that. They're starting to use us as an example at the LMA conferences, the mayor conferences on the courthouse. Hey, look at how they're taking this old building and they're going to revitalize it and bring it back to life, not just go push it down. So that's things that I want to continue doing with our parks. We have the fitness court here next year. We have a goal of building some pickleball courts at Circle Drive Park, a dog park, upgrading facilities that we currently have. So we have a lot of people on social media. I had someone earlier commend our social media, our police department. They do a great job on social media. Our town, we've been really working to be transparent, let people know what we're doing. That's one thing I don't want people to be able to say is, what is the town of Livingston doing? We have a Let's Talk Livingston video that I try to do weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, and let people know here's what's going on. So I don't want them to be able to say, hey, what do y'all have going on? Hey, you're not transparent. So that's a big thing with us, showing them what we're trying to do. And I want to hear from people too. Hey, what do you want to see? So we're undergoing our master plan. Me and you were talking about that earlier. We have Steve Villavasso, who has been working with the town for, I think, 13 years now. He's our city planner, our land use management. If you don't want to call it zoning, I like the word land use management.
Sure.
Things that we want to see. And we're going to be having another meeting with the community. The last one we had around July, we had about 100 show up, citizens, and even people outside of the town of Livingston coming and saying, hey, here's what we'd like to see in town. We're going to be having another one of those. We'll be putting it on social media, and we want to encourage people to come to that. We want to hear what you have to say. I don't want to make those decisions as the mayor, as far as, I want to have input just like a citizen does. Here's what we want to see. I want to hear your input. So it to me, we take care or do our best to take care of the big things. We know there's things that still need to be done in town. There's roads that need to be repaired. There's manholes and sewer lift stations and sewer plants and all those. There's so much to do, but I'm big on the little things as well. Our parks and recreation, providing better amenities to our kids and adults, and offering more opportunity, not just baseball fields, but offering those pickleball courts and fitness areas. Another exciting thing that we're working on with Baton Rouge General right now is putting distance markers along our sidewalks. We have around 4.5 miles of sidewalks, and people utilize them every morning, evening. You come out in town, that's one thing I love about it. But putting distance markers on it, just simple things, knowing, hey, I just walked a half a mile, I walked a mile. Getting people out and about, and it's not just about physical health and wellness, it's about mental, getting out, talking to your neighbors and things like that. And one of the ordinances we just passed earlier this year was a golf cart ordinance. So I had people come to us about that. We have a lot of kids out and about, and they were riding golf carts, and it was becoming unsafe. And we love in the evenings when people are riding around their golf carts, visiting people on the front porch. So I started doing some research and found golf cart ordinances and things like Ocean Springs. And I took theirs and took some others. Come to find out, there's not a lot of communities or municipalities inside of Louisiana that it's legal to operate legal golf carts and UTVs. You could also operate those if they're legalized through the process that we have. We have an ordinance now. It is legal to ride golf carts around town, and that's just another community aspect that you see people riding around, getting out, enjoying the town, talking to each other, and that's why it's such a great small town to live in. So like you've brought out and I've brought out, we have a lot of things going on there, and that's why I wanted to come on here and just let people know about our town and why we love it and the things that we're doing.
So highly recommend, if you're listening to this, to go give the town of Livingston and the town of Livingston Police Department a like and a follow. Sometimes you just never know what you're going to see on there. But, sir, it's been fun. If you'll introduce yourself real quick, and we will head on out here.
Yeah. Again, I'm J.T. Taylor, Mayor of the town of Livingston. I want to thank our employees, our DPW department, our staff. They do a great job. If you ever need anything, please come to us. That's one thing coming. Again, I'm going to mention my tourism background, hospitality, and customer service. That's one thing we try to do our best to offer to our citizens and even people outside. So once again, if you ever come through the town of Livingston, stop by and say hello, and I look forward to meeting you.
And my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate this gentleman for taking the time this morning to stop by and talk about all the things they've got going on in the town of Livingston. There's a lot. I want to remind folks that the news is on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are once a week in print on Thursdays. It's $7 a month to get that in your mailbox. We're also online, www.livingstonparishnnews.com. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.